Welcome back to KP's Kingdom. I'm going to show you how I make my little turkey pies, but the first thing we need to do is cook off the turkey. Alright, so I've got turkey legs. Now if you want to see how I actually make this in total, go back and watch my turkey legs recipe. It was the video before this. So I'm just adding in some tomato there, some tomato paste that goes straight in. This is the condensed version of how to make this dish. About a litre of chicken stock goes in, all going into a slow cooker. In goes a little bit of carrot, mushroom, yum, red wine, and we make this the day before or 2 days before. I'm going to remove some of that stock. I'm going to reduce some of that stock down just to thicken it up. I'm also going to add in a little bit of beef bouillon powder. This is going to give our sauce a bit of a better taste. A little bit of flour goes in. I'm just going to give that a bit of a whisk up. Once that's made this like little bit of a slurry, we can then put that back in the slow cooker. Once your legs are done, serve up what you want for dinner, how much you want for dinner. And there's going to be leftovers because those legs are huge. Right, the next day, we've let this congeal in the refrigerator. And all we're going to do, we've already removed all the meat. We did that the night before. And all we're going to do now is put all of that sauce, all that gravy that we made into a fry pan. It's going to have that on a nice little low heat to start with, and that's going to melt down all of that jelly-like stock. So we're going to bring it up to a slight bubble, and we want to reduce this down around about by half. Just be nice and gentle with it. Just keep reducing it down, keep tasting it. Once it's nice and thick like that, make sure it doesn't need any more seasoning. It shouldn't, with the amount of seasoning that we use in those turkey legs. And set that off to the side, just like that. And we can just leave all that gravy sitting in the fry pan. We don't need to wash it out. We just want to have that gravy on the side there because we can add what we want. Now here I've got last night's turkey with some mashed potato that I've already sort of cooked up. Again, go back, look at the turkey leg recipe, but I'm showing you how you can repurpose a meal. Now, just very, very slowly add a little bit of that gravy just over the top. As I said, just very slowly, just add a little bit in, and then what we're going to do is we're going to stir that through and just incorporate it all together. Alright, and don't forget, we do still have that extra gravy sitting in the slow cooker if we really need it, but we don't. We want to make a nice thick filling for these pies. We don't want them so they fall apart. Just add a little bit of pepper if you think it needs it. You could also add a little bit of extra herbs if you really want to. So just little bit by little bit, and as you can see, everything's starting to thicken up. Everything's gone nice and brown. It's all gone the colour of that gravy. Just double check, taste it, make sure the seasoning is right. And when we've reduced all of that stock, it has actually made the gravy quite salty. So just be careful. You don't want to go too far with that. I think we're just about ready here. That looks pretty good, looks pretty thick. Turkey's all in there and start to fall apart, although it was already falling apart in the turkey legs recipe as it was. Pre-bought puff pastry. I'm just going to cut those into quarters, just like I'm doing there. Very, very simple. And you can use the store-bought pastry. There's nothing wrong with it at all. Making puff pastry, the amount of time it takes is not worth it. Now use butter and grease up your pie dishes, just like that. And we're making a total of 6 pies for this particular recipe. Alright, and having a homemade little pie like this is just amazing. I just absolutely love doing this. Okay, just lay your pastry in, work it around. It doesn't have to be too thick, it doesn't have to be too thin. Just that little quarter sheet is enough for this size of a pie. I'm now going to cut some lids. So I'm simply just going to use a pie dish and just trace around the edge like that. Very, very simple. Okay, so just keep doing that. And we want 6 of those in total for our 6 pies. Now, we are going to blind bake these. So just get a fork and prick the bottom of those pie bases, the pastry there. Just give it a prick. Now, for these particular size pies, I just use a muffin paper, muffin wrapper, and I'm going to sit that inside each of the pies. It's a little bit easier than trying to get greaseproof paper and all that. Very, very simple, this dish. And just add your baking beans in there. And I've had these baking beans for ages. They've been cooked that many times. There's going to be nothing wrong with them. And they're just a Belotti bean. I just found beans on special and bought those and put them in a container, and I use them when I need them. Right, they're going into the oven, 180 degrees, maybe 200, for around about 10 minutes. That's about it. So all we need to do now is remove those baking beans, very, very simply. And you see these little muffin wrappers? It makes it really easy to do. Now all we need to do is just scoop in just a little bit of our turkey mix. It's got the mushroom, it's got the carrot, it's got the potato, it's got the gravy. That all just goes in very, very easily like that. Now our oven is still sitting at that nice temperature, between 180 and 200. It depends on your oven and how well cooked you want your pastry. But as you can see, when we did that blind bake, that's already puffed up quite nicely. Put your lids on, just like that. And all we're going to do there, just to make sure these lids stay where we want them, all we're going to do is we're going to grab a fork and just crimp them down like that. How easy is this? As you can see, we had a bit of an issue with those last two pieces of the pastry, and that is because it had defrosted just a little bit too far. Got to be careful when you use some of these frozen pastries. Poke a couple of holes in the top, and that's going to let the steam run out. Brush the top with some beaten egg, just like that. Yum. And these are only going to take about another 10 to 15 minutes to cook through. Not very long at all. Once the top of those pies goes golden brown, you know they're done. So bang, into the oven, about 10, maybe 15 minutes. Don't forget, our fillings all cooked. Look at that. How good does that look? How easy was that? Just using a bit of leftover from the night before. Why not? And it makes a nice little fun lunch or a fun light meal for somebody. I'd like to see you try and make this one at home. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. If you like this video, hit that like button. Gives me confidence. It should make you feel warm and fuzzy too. Don't forget, share this video with all your friends on all platforms of social media. But more importantly, I want you to come and join the family, my family. Hit that subscribe button and you'll never miss another one of my videos again. I'm off to eat my pies. I will catch you next time. Bye.